Hey, how are you doing, boys and girls? Welcome back to some more upgraders. And today I managed to hit level 75, which is the max rank while playing solo, and I had an absolute blast. We put in around 120 hours into the full game, and we also put in about 50 to 60 hours into the tech test and server slam. So with that, I wanted to make a video for you guys to help you on your way to 75 and completing everything you want to complete in Arc Raiders. I'm going to go over some of the mistakes I made, which will help you prevent grinding and spending a lot of time unnecessarily, going over things like your skill tree, showing you what are the best perks and also ones which you seem good on paper which are not actually that good, and some mistakes I've made with my skill tree and help you avoid them. We'll be going over things like loadouts, all the way from beginner all the way to advanced, some of the best weapons you can choose, some of the best equipment you should be using, some underrated items I think you should be using as a solo player. We'll be going over how to level up Scrappy the fastest way possible without even having to really spend too much time on him and focusing on him. We're going over quite a few things. Let's get straight into the video. I hope you enjoy. Let's get into it. So I want to briefly just go over the expedition, because I see this a lot and people keep asking me this. Do I think it's worth doing the expedition and wiping my character every, I think it's like 8 weeks, right? I think we've got our first one coming up in December. And I would 100% say yes. And it's the reason why I wanted to cover this in this video is because it goes hand in hand with the skill tree, which we're going to cover next. So if we look at about expeditions, you can read through this. I'm just going to really breeze through it, but I just want to touch up on some things which I want to highlight here. You will have all maps unlocked even when you reset your stuff. So like I said, you're going to lose your player levels, skill points are going, Raider Den, workshop, quests, all that gets reset, blueprints, etc. all go, your money you've earned all goes, right? So it's basically like starting again, but you have some extras kept, all right? So things like the maps, you don't have to like do a certain amount of raids to unlock Blue Gate, for example. Unlocks workstations, you don't have to do the initial grind to get the workstations all back up. You're going to have all your workstations, they're just going to get reset back to level 1. Anything like your codec entries, raider tokens, cred, raider deck progress, active leaderboards and trials, so the other things, they all get kept, which is great. But the main thing you want to take away from this is the bonus skill points earned from expeditions and bonus stash slots earned from expeditions. So one of the benefits from doing an expedition, as it will state here, is you're going to get things like increased XP, more scrappy materials, increased weapon repairs, and more stash base. The stash base is the biggest one, including skill points. So if we look at the departure, because we have completed the expedition, one of the things it says is it's going to take all your stash with you. He's going to leave, take all his stash, and never be seen again. And the amount of things you have in your stash and the value you have in your stash, you can earn up to 5 skill points based on the total value of those items. So my idea is before you wipe, when the window comes open, because I think you have 7 days to choose if you want to wipe or not when it actually opens up. When that 7 days comes, I would 100% be grinding to get as many kind of high tier or high value items as possible in your inventory ready to do that wipe. And we'll go over some things on how to do that in another video. But I am definitely going to be grinding and getting my stash as high as value as I possibly can, just so when it comes to the wipe, I get those 5 skill points. And that is why I think it's important to do these expeditions, because they keep going over. Again, we look at this bit here. Every single time you do an expedition, those bonus skill points you earned from your previous expedition will carry over to the next one. So as long as you keep on doing the expeditions, you're going to keep on earning skill points and stash slot space on top of what the default you would normally get, which means you could actually max out your skill tree and not have to choose between different perks. You could just max it all out completely. So that's why I just wanted to quickly brush up on the expedition for people who may be confused about it or maybe still trying to decide if they want to do it. I think you should do it. I think it's a really 100% worthwhile thing to do. So definitely give it a thought if you are wanting to max out your skill tree, have more stash, for example. I think it's a good thing to do. So that now moves on to the skill tree. What things did I like? What things don't I like in terms of the skills? I definitely made some mistakes in my skill tree. I wanted to test some things just to see how good or bad they were, just because I knew I was going to wipe my account anyway. So I'm going to go over some of these and help you maybe avoid some of the mistakes I did. So top perks you should be going for. 100% the security breach. I've made a video on this before and I'll leave that in the pinned comment down below for you to just show how strong this perk is. But in short, it opens security lockers, and these security lockers have some of the best loot in the game currently at the minute. Better than using a key and trying to wait for nighttime to go into that key, and it's only a one-use thing, right? These security lockers, it doesn't matter if it's night, day, whatever condition it is, they're going to give you some decent loot most of the time. And they are very easy to get to, and there's a load of them scattered around every single map. And so 100% I would be going for security breach as soon as I can possibly can. When I have the wipe, there's going to be an extra 5 points given to me, hopefully. And so my presuming is we get them right at the start. That should practically mean that you only have to get to level 31 to get this security breach. And I will be gunning for that as soon as possible, as long as it doesn't get nerfed, right? I know people are going to say, well, about the stamina, I will just be using stims as personally, but I do think the stamina is a great way to go. All right, I'm not going to say that stamina is a bad way to go. They are nice quality of life things to add. And so going from security breach, definitely spec into stamina whenever you can. These first like 10 points are pretty decent, and it's going to help you with your stamina. But if you are quite used to just using stims, you can also just use the stims. So moving on from security breach, again, if you do want to have more explanation of this and see some live examples, I will leave a video in the pinned comment down below showcasing how strong this is. Let's just move on to other really awesome perks. One is the broad shoulders. This is going to basically give you more weight. All right, you can hold more weight when you're going into raid. Doesn't matter if it's a free loadout, doesn't matter if it's a custom loadout. It's just going to add an extra 10 weight to your overall loadout, so you are able to loot more things. It's a very, very good perk. You can also combine it with another one which I liked, is loaded arms. Basically, every weapon will have a weight value to it. When you have loaded arms, it's just going to make that weapon weigh a hell of a lot less. And so overall, it's going to make your starting loadout before you even go in less weight, which is really, really good. So I would definitely go with loaded arms, and I would definitely also go with broad shoulders. Having them both combined means you're just going to be able to loot a lot more. And again, comes combined with also stubborn mule. That's another really, really good perk. It's just going to make it so your stamina regeneration is less affected by being overcumbered. So you can loot more, and you're not going to get penalized as much for looting more and being overcumbered, which is going to be really handy if you are going around looting a lot of security breaches or security lockers, in the map. So can be really, really handy. Other awesome perks are the speed perks when it comes to looting and also breaching. These ones are definitely worthwhile maxing out. They will save your life and make things a lot more easier, especially Looter's Instinct combined with Looter's Luck. It's just going to make it so you can loot a hell of a lot faster, especially if you down someone and you want to quickly loot them. You're going to be able to loot them a lot faster with Looter's Instinct, and you might even reveal two at the same time when going through it, which means you can just grab the loot as fast as possible without getting third-partied by other solo players who just love to come over as soon as they see a flare go up in the air, right? So these are just going to help you out with that, and it's also going to help you in terms of just going around looting a POI. You're going to be able to get through that POI a hell of a lot faster with these perks enabled. Some perks which I just don't think are worthwhile, and I'm just going to go through them. Traveling Tinkerer, I definitely made a mistake on choosing. It basically gives you the ability to craft catch keys basically in raid, and also some traps. I never really used it overall, and as much as I thought I would, never used them, and I think it's a waste of perk. And this one was also a waste of 5 perks, so 100% not going down this route. Also speccing into things like Silent Scavenger and the Silent Breaching, I just don't think of that worth, because you're going to be doing it fast anyway. If someone's close by,
they're going to hear it anyway. I think I had an encounter with a player back in damn Battlegrounds where I could hear him outside looting, and I said, "Hey, how you doing?" Just said, you know, "Are you friendly?" And he replied back going, "How did you know I'm in here?" And I said, "I could hear you." And he goes, "But I got silent scavenger maxed out." And I was like, "Well, I can hear you night as day outside." So I don't think it's that good. It seems to be obviously still pretty loud. I think it's mostly not worth going with. I'd rather just loot everything really fast and then leave it as that, and the same with the breaching. So there are perks I definitely wish I didn't spec into, and instead I wish I had those extra 5 points which I spec'd in here and spec'd them into 3 deep breaths instead. Also, I wish I had some points to spec into the fight or flight. I think that's quite a good one, and it goes really well with survivor stamina. I think these perks are also quite nice little perks to go with. Basically, getting free stamina for getting injured or critically hurt works really well. Also works in tandem with suffer in silence. When critically hurt, your movement makes less noise, so you're going to make less noise and you're going to recover stamina. And if you also use these two here, unburden roll, if your shield breaks, your first dodge roll within the few seconds does not cost any stamina. So basically, if you get shot, you lose your shield. If you dodge roll, that's going to be free, no stamina loss. And if you dodge roll also with carrying momentum activated, you also get free stamina in terms of you're able to sprint without using any stamina. It's great. So get shot, do a sprint dodge roll at a cost for free, and then you get free stamina along the way too, which is great. And also you're getting faster stamina regeneration when you end up being critically hurt. So they all work quite well together, and I do think they're quite decent perks.
So when it comes to Scrappy, it is definitely worth getting him to level 5. You get a lot more materials per raid, but I don't think it's worth focusing on him necessarily and spending a lot of times trying to find the fruit. It can be an absolute ball ache, and I don't think the extra materials you get from it are worth the time investment of you going around grinding to try and find these fruits and veggies, right? Which is what I done. It's something I wish I knew sooner, because I could have focused on other things over Scrappy. When it comes to the trinkets, which you're going to need, which are going to be things like the pillow, the cat bed, the collar I don't think is a trinket, but you need a collar for him at the start. You can find these in one place, and I will only go to this one place to find them. It's a really good place to go. But go to here, go to Bluegate, and you want to head to the village. This place is great for it. There's a load of things you can loot here. There's a load of different houses all around this area which have a possibility of finding the pillow, the cat bed, and you'll find the collar here too. So I would 100% be focusing on just going to this village area and grinding this area. You'll find it within 3 or 4 raids, guaranteed. If your RNG is really that bad though, I'm sorry, but yeah, you should be able to find it here pretty easy. Anything of the trinkets, just go here. You should be good. There is a few other places you can go. For example, maybe you haven't unlocked Spaceport yet. Bluegate yet. Go to damn Battlegrounds and head over to the Apale Apartments and Ruby. This is a really underrated area for finding pretty nice loot. If you are just starting out, go here and you can start searching. Just remember to keep things like the pillow, the cat beds, and obviously look for your collar too. All right, but those are the 2 places I like to go when it comes to finding trinkets and making some money a little bit. Sometimes I will always stop off at the village here and loot it up if I am around, because you can just make some free money pretty fast, and then I can normally just get out quickly, reset, and make some free easy money along the way. So yeah, definitely go village. When it comes to the fruit though, I would 100% only be going to Spaceport. Now I'll show you an example of this in a minute anyway, but you want to be going to the side here where the communications tower is, and going to these little huts and shacks all around this area here. Anywhere where there's like a little bit of, places you can loot, just go and look there. You'll find these baskets. These baskets, if you find like 3 of them, maybe 4 tops if you're unlucky, you will have every single bit of fruit you will need to complete Scrappy. From the apricots, the lemons, the mushrooms, all of that will be found in these baskets. and you only need to find like 3 or 4 of them, you'll have enough to complete Scrappy, and that'll save you having to go around, for example, to the Blue Gate and Olive Grove, which a lot of people recommend, where you're going to get shot at from people who have been unfriendly sometimes. It's out in the open, you're going to be kicking trees, you're going to be attacked by Ark all the time. It's not worth it as much. It's not worth trying to also look for the mushrooms in those kind of like specific areas the mushrooms spawn. It's too much time to be wasted. I would just be going straight to Spaceport when the Lush Blooms event is available on it, and going over to this area here and searching for the baskets. I'll show you how the baskets look like if you don't know what they look like, and that's how they look like. Okay, so they'll be all around this area here. You should be able to find them easily, 3 or 4 per a Lush Blooms event. And if you want to work out about it when it comes to the Lush Blooms events and when it's going to be coming back for Spaceport, you can do this. Go over to the Metaforge app, and again, I will leave this in the pinned comment down below. It's a really good map. It also has it shows you an interactive map for all the maps where you can have loot, but it has one which is called the Ark Raiders event timers. Event timers are based on the server slam and will be updated at launch. So these could be, I think these have been updated because they do seem to be pretty accurate for me on what's going on at the minute. But just have a little look. I'll say like what type of event it is. You want to be looking for the Lush Bloom. So there's the Lush Blooms one here. It's stating it is on Dam though. So you just want to look for the Lush Blooms event and look for when it says Spaceport, and then put that in your diary or mark it on your phone when that's going to happen. And then at least then you know when it's going to come. You don't have to waste too much time at all looking for or waiting for the Lush Blooms event to come along. You just know exactly when it's going to come on whatever day. You can go there straight away, go and loot it up, finds loads of those baskets, get out, boom, that's your Scrappy done, and you don't have to waste that much time on them. Okay, so let's just talk about loadouts. I'm just going to go over some general tips, things you should be focusing on from start to finish. We're going to start off with the backpacks. I like to call them the backpacks. When you're starting out, looting MK1 is the best one to go with. It has the highest max weight, and that is what you're going to be focusing on when you start off, right? You get 1 safe pocket, you get 50 to be able to loot. You're only running light shields, most probably at the start, right? So looting MK1, really, really good. When you get into your mid game, you do have 2 choices. You can keep with your light shield and have even more weight to be able to loot, and you then get 2 safe container slots, which can be really, really handy. Or you can go with the combat MK2, which I would personally be using. That means I can start running the mediums. Medium shields are what you want to be focusing on, okay? These ones here. You want to be trying to get to these as fast as possible, and you'll be using these pretty much for your whole entire playthrough. I don't recommend going with the heavy shield, and I'll try and talk about it in an easier way in terms of HP in general. So, when you go from light all the way to medium shield, that is going to be a plus 12% effective HP versus the light. Alright, so that's quite a nice difference. Definitely worth going on. You're getting a little bit more damage reduction, and it does have a slight penalty, which is 5% reduced movement speed, but it's not a big penalty. This one, however, has a 15% reduced movement speed. That is horrendous. I don't want to use that, considering it doesn't really do extra in terms of your HP over the medium. So heavy only has like a 9% effective HP difference versus your medium. But it, like I said, it comes with your 15% reduction to movement speed. It also costs a lot more to make and buy. So I would never really touch the heavy shield. It really just isn't worth it at the minute. I hope they kind of maybe buff it slightly so it actually becomes worth using. But I never see anyone using heavy shields in my games. I've never really used them. I tried it once, didn't think it was that great, went back to using medium. So the sooner you can get onto crafting medium shields, the better. Let's actually have a look at what you need to craft medium shields. So here's the medium shield at the workbench. I'm pretty sure it's level 2 when you unlock this. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure you just have to get your workbench, gear bench, sorry, to level 2 to get your medium shield going, right? It only contains arc circuitry and batteries. Batteries are so easy to find. You can also buy them from the trader.
this one here, Celeste. I think you can buy them 10 at a time with your seeds. So batteries are so easy to come by. And then the other one, arc circuitry, again, is a very easy resource to get. These come from those probes which drop from the sky. And there is an event which goes on all the time called, which is like a probe event, basically. I can't remember off the top of my head what it's called, but there's a probe event where there's going to be more of them dropping down. Just go to one of those events and just focus on going for those probes. You'll find so many arc circuitry. You'll come out with 20 plus per event, per like a raid, right? Really, really easy, especially if you have your skill tree where you'll be able to breach things faster. You'll be able to breach into these nice and fast, grab them, get out. You're going to have the resources very easy to craft your medium shields. Now, the best backpack you can use, and you will have to find a blueprint for doing so, but it's the Looting MK3 Survivor. This was the best one to be rocking. This is the one I always rock. It can hold a max loadout weight of 80. It allows you to use your medium shield, and it has an extra utility slot. So that utility slot, I normally put my mines in there, my shock mines. That is something we'll talk about also in this video. One of the best utilities in the game, which you should always bring with you with it as a solo, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But it allows you to put your little mines there. It also gives you free safe container slots. So if you're looting and you find some awesome things, you can put free things, which is guaranteed to get out of you even if you get killed. And like I said, it has 80 max weight. And if you focus on, like I talked about with the skill tree, your broad shoulders, maxing that out, that means you gotta have a max loadout rate of 90. Really, really awesome. This is the best one I personally think when it comes to your end game backpack. This is the one I'm always using most of the time. Okay. This jolt mine, by the way, is a solo's best friend. You want to make sure you bring these with you if you can craft them or loot them, and make sure you have enough in your stash. You can also use other traps like the flame traps and other kind of like mine traps. Whatever you find, they're going to really become your savior when you're a solo player. There's going to be people who like to rat about and creep about, try and get the jump on you when you're looting and non-aware. There's going to be times where there's like high tier areas where you've got to first and you want to secure it so you can loot without, you know, worrying about people creeping up on you. These are the way forward. They're also great if you get injured and you quickly back up and you plonk one down on the floor just behind cover and keep on going. It can bait people to think, okay, you're weak and I'm going to push you, and you're just waiting for them to run into this jolt mine and then you finish them off. It's a very, very strong utility, and you should definitely bring one of these for you. Even if you're just a PvE player who doesn't really go for PvP, it's going to help you not get caught out on guard when you're going around doing your looting in your POIs and things like that, or when you're trying to take down a big enemy. You can plop it in a building where you're trying to take it down from and stop people creeping up when you're trying to take it out. It's really, really handy. I would 100% be searching for this BP if you can, and bring these mines with you whenever possible. I'm going to go over a video, by the way, on how to find more BPs coming up, so stay tuned for that one. It's a great way of trying to get your BPs you're going to be needing, and a really awesome spot. So use your jolt mines, you won't be disappointed. And here's a clip just showcasing how strong they are. Okay, so talking about your weapons of choice. When you're starting out, the best weapons to go with is the Stitcher and the Kettle for your close range, followed with the Ferro for your long range. That's all you need, either one of them. If you're good with your trigger finger and you can just spam the trigger really well, Kettle is your man. It is so good, very underrated, and it will take people out super fast. If you don't want to spam the trigger, you can go with the Stitcher. And you see people using this even to the mid to late game with some good mods on it. If you specifically, if you get the, where is it? I think I've got one of them. This here, this perk here. or modification, sorry. It's a legendary modification, a kinetic converter, increases the fire rate. You can add this to the Stitcher, by the way, and it will increase the fire rate even more and make it basically a cheaper Bobcat, which we're going to talk about also in terms of guns. But it's a very viable ring to run, and it is pretty good. So Stitcher is a very good gun, and like I said, the Kettle's very underrated. Use the Ferro against the Arc. Heavy ammo is great against Arc, and so use the Ferro. It'll take out your Wasps, your Hornets, your Snitchers. You can even take out the bigger enemies with it if you're in a good cheese spot where they can't get to you, and be able to even farm the heavy, or farm the Leapers, the Bastions, and things like that, as long as you're not getting third-partied by other players when you're doing so. But if you have enough ammo, you can do it. So that is what I'd run with your starting. When it comes to going to your mid-game, one to place the Ferro would be the Anvil. Anvil is really, really good. It is basically just a better Ferro, and you can shoot it faster as long as you upgrade it and put a thing like a compensator on it. It is very, very good, and it can replace your Ferro. I would, though, when it comes to getting into more of the mid-game to late game, I'm going to be going with the Venenator. The Venenator is so strong. It is the best close-range gun in the game currently, and I think it will get nerfed. It is just a very strong gun. It has a 2-shot trait to it, uses medium ammo, and you can combine the Venenator with the Renegade, which is my basically preferred loadout of choice, even at endgame. It is a very fun gun, a combo to use. It deals with close, medium, and long ranges. The Renegade, when you put it with a compensator, is very strong, and I would recommend upgrading both of these to at least level 3 to have the best out of them, where you can get a faster fire rate when doing so. Okay, so definitely go with these if you are getting to them. They don't cost too much to make, and if you do have that security breach perk which was talking about, you'll be able to find these quite a lot in those security breach lockers. Now, going on to more the end game, especially if the Venenator does get nerfed, I just need to go over to my stash for this. You have options like the Bobcat. The Bobcat is a very good close range gun, especially if you up your magazine size with attachments. This thing is going to absolutely shred. It's great for hip fire. It's got a really fast fire rate, and it takes people down super fast in close range. On top of that, you have the Tempest. Tempest is a very, very good gun, and you can use this for your medium ranges. So if you didn't want to bring a Renegade or a Ferro or an Anvil, and you just wanted to run one gun, just run the Tempest. The Tempest is very good. It can deal with people at long ranges, like medium to long range. Long range is a bit questionable if you're going against someone running a Ferro or an Anvil or a Renegade. They will most probably win that fight if they're doing good with their cover and peeking. But overall, for medium ranges and close ranges, this Tempest is very, very good. And if you just want to one gun, that's the way forward. Run the Tempest. It's great. You can also run the Tempest with the Venenator. If you wanted to have a little close range option, you could also run it with the Venenator, or even cheaper, run it with a Stitcher. And if you do want to run a double gun, all right. The shotgun is also a really awesome gun to use alongside things like the Renegade or an Anvil. Yeah, really, really awesome. You can just spam that shotgun. I would again increase it to at least level 3 and just start blasting away hip fire. That thing will absolutely melt people too. So some real viable options you got to take with when it comes to the pink weapons, and you'll be getting these on tap again if you have upgraded and got your security breach. You'll have so many of these you won't know what to do with them. When it comes for XP, the best thing you can be doing, especially at the early to mid game, when you haven't completed all your missions, because that's one thing you want to be focusing on, is doing your missions, because when you do your missions, you will unlock the Hole Cracker BP and you unlock the ammo BP to craft it, which is going to save you money, because you can, when you do your missions, you will eventually unlock it in the gun shop here. You can buy the Hole Cracker and you can also buy the ammo, but they're quite expensive. 3k per 10 is pretty expensive. And so you mostly want to craft them. You can craft them by doing the missions midway through to... It's either between midway to kind of like 3/4 of the way through. You're going to unlock the BPs for these, and then you can just craft them, and it's going to be a lot cheaper than trying to buy them. If you're also lucky to find a BP for Wolfpack grenades, they're very easy to craft, and they're also very easy to find if you have the security breach perk. You'll find them a lot in those lockers. Only 2 of them will be needed to take out most of the bigger arcs. You'll see in this clip here, I only use 2 Wolfpack grenades. I make sure there's no other arc around so that the Wolfpacks don't attract onto anything else, and it takes it out in 2 shots. It is pretty strong, and the thing to take note is once you destroy the big arcs, that gives you good XP, but then you can loot them, and every little section will give you XP, 500 per little section, which will really add up. And if you can kill anywhere between 2, 3 or 4 arcs per raid using either the hole cracker you got from the BPs on the story or finding Wolfpack grenades and just using them, you'll be netting some really big XP. Now, if you haven't got that far, just go and loot everything. Survive your raids, keep in there as long as possible, and loot everything you see. Just even if it's been looted, just tap onto it so it gets the search thing and then come off it. And then tap onto dead raiders, come off them. Everything there is going to be anywhere from 200 XP to 500 XP, and it will all add up along with being survival time and surviving a raid. You'll end up coming out with 20 to 30k XP on a really good run. That is the end of the video. Thank you so much for sticking to the end and watching this. We have plenty more videos coming out, from guides to PvE to PvP, some of the events, what you should be doing in that case, showing you some good examples of some of maybe the loadouts I've also covered, some loot spots, how to find blueprints. There's many things I want to cover, and you're also welcome to ask any questions you like when it comes to me streaming. I stream every single day from 8 PM UK time all the way up until around midnight to 1 PM. I am over on Kick and I'm also on YouTube. Be sure to drop a follow over on Kick and ask anything you like. Beginner friendly. I am more than happy to answer those questions. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon for some more Arc Raiders.